All right, everybody, welcome back to another GYLS Momentum session. This week we have a very special guest, as always, because we've only got special guests on here. Now, a lot of the guests have been youth coaches, regular GYLS coaches. We've had a couple youth leaders. We might have even had an alumni too, some GYLS speakers. This is the very first GYLS ambassador. Now, what that means is, out of all of the people, out of, I don't know, 250 or something, this person was the one to step up to say, you know what, I want to do a momentum session. One of the very first people to sign up. And I'm like, okay, awesome. What do you want to talk about? And she's like, I don't even know, but I want to do it. Like, I'm committed. Let's do it. I'm like, that's so awesome that you're just down to jump off the bridge and then figure out how to fly later. So that's amazing. So without further ado, another thing, actually, she's been on pretty much every single one live. I know a lot of you guys are watching this re-recorded after. To get on, to wake up early and get on it live and ask questions and be interactive, that's the whole point of keeping GYLS alive. That's how you do it. At GYLS, sure, you can watch the after movie, but is it the same as being there? Of course not. So for any of you ambassadors or alumni or anyone out there who wants to lead one of these sessions, just send me a message and I'd be more than happy to have you. Figure out what your topic is so that we can work something out and then get on these live. If you're watching this recorded after on YouTube, it's awesome to watch all of the people asking questions, but you can ask your own questions. In the GYLS Momentum Sessions group, there's a document with all the different speakers. So if there's a topic that you have some questions for, make sure you get on that one live. And all of the speakers are amazing. They're lined up really good. Now, I almost always forget this, but this time I remembered. In the GYLS Momentum Sessions Facebook group, pinned to the top, we're going to have a post that says ask any questions and comments up here. Post them all there. And we're also going to try something new where right under where you're watching on YouTube, you can comment under there any questions. If you don't have a YouTube account, I don't know if it'll let you, so don't worry about it. Just go to Facebook. But we're going to try out both and see which one works better, which one's easier. Make sure you also hit the live button so that you're watching in real time and you're not 10 or 15 minutes behind. And without further ado, here is Ariana.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Okay. So, Sergio remembered everything today. But yeah. So I'm going to, I don't even know how to start this. Okay. Well, so I'm starting my video session thing, and it's on self-love. And I kind of didn't, like Sergio said, I started this, but I didn't know how to go, like, I didn't have a topic. I was like, I just want to do one, but I'll think of something later. I'll just keep you posted, because he was, like, completely booked until, like, today. Like, November was the next day he had available. Couple days passed, and I was like, I did all this, I was like looking through my manual from GYLS, and I was doing mirror exercises, and I was doing all that, and then something hit me. I don't know what it was. I don't know how it hit me. I don't know, I don't know any of that, but it just hit me, and I was like, I'm telling myself that I love myself, I'm gorgeous. I'm telling myself that, but that one time that I did it that night, I was like, I don't think I mean any of this. And it was weird because I'd done it like previous nights after GYLS, during GYLS, and it was perfectly fine. I was like, yeah, pumped, doing my whole make my move. I was doing the yes, I was doing all of that, and it like nothing happened like this. So that night I was like, well, is this stuff actually real? Like, do I actually feel all this? So I had like a whole breakthrough session that I was like, well, okay, well, yeah, you can tell yourself that you love yourself, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you can do anything you put your mind to, but do you mean it? Because if you don't mean it, they're just empty words. So I guess I'm going to ask a question. My first question for this will be, have you ever told yourself something but felt that, okay, I'm telling myself this just to tell myself this. Like, I'm saying it, but I don't really mean it. And that's kind of what I was doing. And then it hit me, maybe, what's blocking this? Why am I feeling like I don't need this? So I had my whole breakthrough session and I realized I'm still very insecure. I thought after GYLS that my confidence level and everything completely changed. That I was like, well, yeah, I'm down for everything. I'm taking experiences by the hand. When it was kind of 50-50 on that. I felt it, but it wasn't completely there. So through that, I started remembering like memories that I thought that I like let go of, but didn't really. And I remembered like from kindergarten to fifth grade, I was like so outgoing. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I was very like friendly, outgoing. And then sixth grade, when I went into there, um, it was very weird because I was still very outgoing and like trying to make friends and all that. But the middle school that I went to, it was like really like not it was bad, but it was bad. Like people were really mean, rude, and I wasn't used to that because I was like, I don't judge people, I don't do any of that. But it was still happening to me. So it was really weird, and I kind of like shut down in a way. And then I was at the same school until seventh grade, and from sixth to seventh grade, and then I switched out eighth grade. I went into a magnet school, and everyone was like super nice. It was like kindergarten through fifth grade all over again, and it like built up my confidence and everything went back to normal. And then GYLS came, and I remembered all that, and I was like, yeah, well, you guys did all this, but I'm gonna forgive you. I'm gonna be the bigger person. I don't want this, like Kathy said, I don't want this weight that I don't want to carry it. So then that night, I was like, wait, I haven't actually forgiven you guys. So I had that entire forgiving session with myself, and whoa, like a big weight was lifted. I was immediately like, I feel better about myself. So I guess the second question would be, I guess it kind of ties in with the first one, but um, are there people that you still haven't forgiven for, giving you labels? Calling you stupid, fat, ugly, mean, stuff like that. Um, so then that's what kind of got me to do the whole self-love session because it opened my eyes and I was like, After GYLS, I realized I'm not the only one going through stuff. Everyone has similar problems. Well, not problems, but similar situations. Because they're not problems, really. They're just obstacles and situations in life. So maybe I was like, well, I just had this breakthrough. What if I could help someone else have this breakthrough? So, yeah, that's what got me into this self-love session, and that's my backstory. So, do we have any answers for the questions? The two questions?
As of right now, we don't
I know
because
there's a whole lag
we're watching
time.
it on YouTube, so there's a decent lag. But Rachel Bell did post, "I love you, Ariana. Thank you for all you're doing." So that's awesome. We've got a fan. Yay, Rachel.
I love you too, Rachel. And shout out to all my Aussies because it's 2 a.m. over there and it's like 10 over here. So good for you guys. Thank you. And then everybody else, because throughout this week I got messages and texts saying I cleared. I know Josh. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on. Josh. He texted me and told me that I cleared my whole. I had a lot to do, but I cleared this time to come and watch, and it just like it means a lot. Like I don't know how to put it through words, but it means the world. So.
Awesome. I think Rachel Rachel just commented #1 fan. Awesome.
Okay, so I have a friend. Her name is Emily. This is going back to the whole self-love, and she was very insecure. she's one of my best friends. Almost 4 years that we've been best friends, and she was very insecure about herself. She felt like she wasn't pretty unless she had like a ton of makeup or like just eye makeup, or she was fat, she was all this stuff that she completely wasn't. And she's absolutely amazing. And after GYLS, I was like, well, all these people helped me, so now I'm going to pay it forward and help my best friend and see if that works and see where that gets me. So we had a whole FaceTime, like 4-hour FaceTime thing, and it was actually really awesome because she told me like all this stuff, and I had her do an activity. And if you guys want, you can do this too. First of all, what labels have people given you? Has anybody ever called you, dumb, stupid, fat, ugly? What are the labels that people have given you, and what have they caused? Like, have they caused you insecurities? Have they caused you, whatever they've caused you? If someone calls you, like ugly, it's gonna make you really insecure about yourself, and you're gonna want to like cake your face in makeup, or you're gonna want to try and cover like that huge zit that nobody really cares about except you. So there's like all this stuff that contributes. And then there are insecurities that people have labeled on you, and then there are insecurities that you put on yourself, and things that you've said to yourself that you beat yourself up over for absolutely no reason. So if you get an F on a test and you tell yourself, I'm stupid, that's something that you've just labeled on yourself, which you shouldn't really do, because one test is not going to label you forever. You can go and get an F on one test, but learn through the mistakes, get tutoring, do all that, and then go back to your A, B, C, whatever you're doing, and just improve. Because without mistakes, you're not going to improve, you're not going to get better, you're not going to advance in your life. So I had her write down a list of insecurities, labels, and then I had her separate them. What people have labeled her and told her, and what she's told herself, So if you guys want, that's one thing you can do. And that's, if you want, you can post some of them on the YouTube comments or on the GYLS page. So the second thing I had her do after she identified those, I had why she still remembers these, because there are times that people call you like jerk or fun or like mean, or sometimes people call you like you're super funny, but someone might not think you're super funny. So there are reasons that you remember stuff, because it sticks with you. So if one of your favorite teachers says that you're dumb for not answering the question, it's going to stick with you, because that's your favorite teacher. You thought that they were the best one ever, and then they just came and called you stupid, so that's going to stick with you. If someone calls you shy and you're not shy, then it's kind of going to make you think, okay, what have I done that makes them think that I'm shy? Am I actually shy? And then it's just going to stick with you. So identify why it made an emphasis on you. Identify why it was important to you, so that you remembered it and you kept it with you. And why you think that, okay, I'm ugly, so I'm going to put makeup on every day. Someone told me that my skin looks really bad, and then I have to put on makeup. Someone told me I have dark circles under my eye, and it looks like I'm completely exhausted all the time. So after you identify those and like remember, okay, just go through them and tell yourself, am I really fat? No. Am I stupid? No. If I was stupid, I wouldn't have gotten AB honor roll. Just go through and tell yourself, like, identify, is this the truth, or is this something that someone's just told me and I'm putting too much like thought towards it. And then after I had her do that, she was like, I asked her, if you want, you can share them with me, because it's completely like, that's personal, it's your thing, preference. So I asked her if she wants to share it, then she can. And she did share it with me. And I did it myself that when I had my whole breakthrough and all that. And she told me that all of these are completely false. And then I asked her, well, then if they're completely false and you don't believe in them, why do you still go by them? Why are those your set rules for yourself? Not rules, but why are those what you remember? Why are those what you call yourself? And it was really funny, like not funny, but it was really interesting, I should say, that she had no answer for that. She didn't know why she kept all of those towards herself. And she told me that she's just been thinking about it so long that it just became like part of her, that she was, fat or dumb or stupid. And when she told me that, I kind of was like, well, you're not any of these things, so why do you keep telling yourself? You just told me yourself, I'm not dumb, I'm not fat, I'm not stupid. So then if you know yourself you're not and you can identify that, why are you still doing it? So after that, after all of that, I had her do the mirror exercise. And she laughed at me when we first did this, because I told her, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself all the things that are great about you. And she laughed at me and asked me, why would you do that? You're talking to yourself in the mirror. Doesn't that make you seem like conceited or narcissistic, or that you're only focusing on yourself? And I told her no, because you have to identify the awesome things about yourself or you're going to forget them, and you're just going to remember the terrible things that people told you, or the terrible things that you just remember about yourself. So you have to, it's like when you have a pet and they do something really good for you, like not good for you, but if you have a pet and you tell them to sit and they do, you reward them with a treat. And that's kind of what you're doing with the mirror exercise. You're rewarding yourself for all the awesome things about yourself. And then it's kind of helping you with your confidence, with your own, yourself basically. So I told her that, because she told me she had low self-confidence through all the stuff that has happened and the things that people told her and all that. So I told her, start doing the mirror exercise or mirror challenge, whatever you want to call it. Start doing that. I promise you, within 3 weeks, excuse me, within 3 weeks, you're not going to remember any of those bad things that you remembered about yourself. You're only going to think well, I'm really funny. I made this joke and everybody laughed, and now I use it as an icebreaker, and it's made me more open to talking to people. I'm not going to worry about that one zit on my face, because it's going to go away, and then that doesn't define how I look, because it'll go away, and then I'm always going to look the same way. So it's been 3 weeks, and it's been past that, and it seems like she's completely different. Her confidence is up and everything. It's great. So yeah, that's one personal story.
Awesome. We've actually got some questions.
Awesome.
My man Jeff over here actually has a 3-part question, but even before that, you were talking about the mirror exercise. Some of the people who are watching or who will be watching might not know what it is, so maybe you can give us a quick thing on the mirror exercise, and then I've got a 3-part question for you from Jeff.
Okay, so the mirror exercise is basically, you do it anytime, you just have to do it routinely, every day, because repetition is everything. If you don't have the repetition to do it, you're going to do it one day, and then I'm not going to do it the next day, but I'll do it the next day, and then it's completely out of whack. So basically, you go into your bathroom, your room, if you have a mirror, anywhere with a mirror, and you look yourself straight in the face and straight in the eye, and you just tell yourself, things about yourself that you love. I'm beautiful. For me, I would tell myself, I'm beautiful, I'm gorgeous, I'm smart, I can do anything that I put my mind to. So things like that, are great about you, that you want to embrace. I'm a wonderful singer. I can dance my heart out and I'm great at it. I don't care who's watching or anything. So basically you just do that and you do that for however long you want. You can do it for like 30 seconds. You can do it for, I don't know, how long can you go for? I mean, you can just it's like talking to yourself and just, making yourself feel better about, like, kind of feel better because you're telling yourself all of these amazing things that, most people, like, when they think about all the terrible things people tell them, that's all they remember. They don't remember the amazing, outstanding things about them. So, um, that's basically what the mirror exercise does. And you can do it I do it every night. And then, it's a confidence booster, and it just makes you remember, like, I'm so outstanding that it's not, like, what's not to love. So
Awesome. Now, there's actually a really funny video of that little girl, I think her name's Jessica, doing the mirror exercise, and she's just like going off. It's actually the funniest thing. Guys should all Google little like Jessica mirror exercise or something. She's like a little kid that can stand on the counter, like she's, I don't know so we got a three-part question from Jeff. I'm gonna
all
give
right,
you
I'm
all
ready.
three so you kind of have the full context, and then go one at a time.
All
So
right.
the three questions are: before GYLS, how did you learn to give yourself self-love? The second question is: once you attended GYLS, how has your ability to give self-love improved, or is it different from what you've created for yourself? And then, how are you sharing your truth to give youth self-love? So the first one, before GYLS, how did you learn to give yourself self-love?
Okay, well, I have to completely give my yeah. Okay, I have to completely give my mom and dad the credit for that because sixth grade, when all of that was happening, I got bullied and picked on, and, like, I came, like, before that, before fifth grade, my mom, was like talking to me and saying, okay, you're gonna be a sixth grader now, you're gonna go into middle school, awesome time because, it's not every day you go from being a fifth grader to the sixth grader, in middle school. Because, for us, I know it's different everywhere, but for us it's kindergarten through fifth grade, and then that's elementary school. And then you go to middle school, which is sixth through eighth, and then high school, and then, college and all that. So she was telling me all about this, and I have a broken nose. And if you look at my nose from this angle, it has a bump here, and it kind of comes out on the sides here because it's like bone over to fix the broken part, I guess. And it wasn't really a big thing for me, in elementary school. But middle school, everyone was like, I don't know what it was with middle schoolers, but they were so judgmental. It was not, I wasn't used to that. So
Quick question before you move on, why do you think that was? Why do you think they
that
were all so judgmental? There's a reason. Why do you think it was?
honestly, I think because it's such a big transition from because okay, in my elementary school, everybody was like best. Everybody knew each other. They stood up for each other. They were all like, it was like one big family. But middle school, it was like people from everywhere, coming in like from different schools, and everybody was like, okay, well, I don't know my friend group. I don't know how people will react. I don't know, I think, honestly, I think it was just like a defense thing because a lot of people, like, from what I remember, a lot of people got really defensive if you told them something and they didn't really like it. So they thought, like, okay, well, I don't like what you're telling me, so, you're mean for that, and they'll just, say it without thinking,
Yeah.
or something like, or, along those lines. And everybody, like, sixth grade, everybody was like trying to find their friends group. Everybody was trying to, find themselves in a way. Because seventh grade, I remember, no, not everybody was that judgmental. I remember, like, the group of girls that were picking on me ended up apologizing to me for that because, their friend group that they had in sixth grade wasn't, their peer group wasn't very strong, wasn't very amazing, and they all started turning on each other. And that's kind of what makes me think that they're trying to find themselves and find their peer group because theirs wasn't very good and they were like the only thing that they had in common really was like starting to pick on people, like different people, which wasn't all that great. But they ended up apologizing, so
Yeah. One little thing to add, just a metaphor. If you want to have the tallest tower in the city, you can either build the tallest tower, which takes a lot of effort, or you can just um, destroy everyone else's towers. And a lot of people to bring themselves up, they have to put other people down. And it has nothing to do with the person being bullied, the person who's being put down. It has nothing to do with them. It's all about the other person, like the bully, who's trying to just bring themselves up, right?
yeah.
Now, part two of that question.
Did I answer
Once you
part one
attended
of that?
GYLS, how's your ability? Pardon?
Did I answer part one of that? I don't. I feel like I
I,
got sidetracked on it.
yeah, I think so. Uh, part two, once you attended GYLS, how is your ability to give self-love improved, or is it different from what you created for yourself?
Um, I mean, GYLS was a big part of it because, you know, okay, for those of you who haven't been to GYLS or who don't know what GYLS is, it's a global youth leadership summit, and it's run by the Tony Robbins Foundation, Anthony Robbins Foundation, and um, we had like our little groups, and we stayed in dorms, and we had our dorm rooms, and every night we would have like a debrief session, and you know, I was open to talking about stuff, but I wasn't completely open because I was still kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure if I really want to start talking about stuff. So the first night was kind of, you know, laid back and not really talking. And then the second day, everybody was, you know, opening up, talking about their stuff. And I was like, well, you know, they're trusting me with their stuff, and they're really being honest, and it's coming off their chest, and they look a lot better like than they were before. So um, I started sharing, and it made me feel a lot better because I was like, well, they had the same issue, but they got over it. So they told me what they did to get over it if they got picked on, or, you know, anything to bring up what they can do to love themselves and to share that. So, guys, and we talk a lot, so I love all of you guys. But um, and then also like the little activities we did at GYLS, writing letters to yourself, not beating yourself not beating yourself up over little things. All of that contributed to it, and then obviously the mirror exercise and all that.
Yeah, awesome. Now, question number three. How are you sharing your truth to give youth self-love? And I would argue that the very first way is by doing this webinar right now. Tons of people are going to see this, and you're changing lots of lives just by sharing this right now. So how do you think?
um,
You were saying you were teaching your friend about the mirror exercise earlier, right? That's one way.
yeah, um, I tell a lot of my friends about GYLS, and like I'm like that's what like when I came back to school, that was like the only thing I would talk about was GYLS and how amazing it was and how life changing it was, and you know, you guys really need to, if you can, attend. Um, so I told, well, first it started off with just my best friend, and then I'm really, me personally, I'm really good at listening to people, and like if they need to talk or if they need to get something off their chest, I'm like, because I won't tell them, like tell other people. So um, I would have them tell me if they needed to talk, and they would be the one to come to me. I wouldn't go to them because the other person has to be willing to share. So I started, after helping my friend, I was like, let me expand this. Let me make this bigger, like this group bigger. So I started talking to my other friends who I knew had like small things that they had in their life going on, but not like major ones. And then I started helping them through stuff, and then it kind of just grew bigger and bigger, and then I started helping more people, telling more people about it. And honestly, I use a lot of stuff from our GYLS manual toward that, because I wrote a lot of notes to myself during GYLS, like how to improve or how to do this or how to do that, and I use that a lot, and I kind of reference it a lot with my friends. So
Awesome. Yeah, hopefully, Jeff, that answers your question. If it doesn't, if you have like a side question or something, let us know. Now, we've got another question from someone you probably know, Omid. What other way can people practice self-love? So we've got the mirror exercise pretty down. Is there any other things that you can do?
um, honestly, I think that you have to identify all of the stuff that you think is blocking you from loving yourself. So because once you identify that, really there's nothing stopping you from making that jump to, the whole I love myself. Um, because if you think that, um, okay, say this is the most common thing that most people think. If you think that you're fat because someone told you you're fat, or if you think that if you have a favorite shirt, you absolutely love the shirt, you just bought it, you fell in love with it, and someone tells you you look fat in that, you look gross in that, it doesn't suit you, don't wear it. That's gonna stick with you, and so over time, you're always gonna link, you know, being fat to that one event. So, or at least that's what it was. Like I would link stuff to the first time in my case. So once you identify that and you say, well, that was their opinion, it wasn't my opinion. That was just something that they told me that I took, like I gave too much thought to. So after you identify it, it'll be easy. It'll be easier for you to realize, well, this isn't true. So why am I beating myself up over this? I love like it. It helps with realizing that you're perfect and that you don't need to realize, or you don't need to like think, oh, I'm fat, and that's causing you to beat yourself up over things and say that I'm not pretty. I don't love myself because of this reason. So hopefully that answers the question.
I think it would. Um, Rachel said, nice nails, by the way. And she also has a question for you. If you had to give someone a three-step process to self-love, what would you come up with, Love Guru? Now, I would say don't be locked into exactly three. It could be two steps, it could be four or five, but if you had to give us a process of something that you would have to do, and I think we've made it clear, you've made it clear, that the first step is to obviously identify, right?
Yeah.
What would the next couple steps be? How do you give someone the steps to self-love?
Oh my god, I think you froze. I think you froze for a second.
Yeah, might have. We're good though.
Okay, we're all good. Okay. So obviously the first step is to identify it, because without doing that, you can't really tackle the obstacle, or you can't really get to what's causing you to feel this way.
Even
So
before that, though, I have a question for you. What if it's someone who doesn't even realize that they need to identify, or someone that doesn't want to identify, they don't want to change, but they're just happy with it? What about that? Is there a step
like if,
before even identifying it?
if they're happy with like what someone told them?
They just don't have enough, I guess, motivation to even want to begin to change, to start the process, right? How do you even get someone on the path? The first step is identify on the path, but how do you even get someone to even be on the path? You kind of get my question? I know it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, I got it. No, I got it. Honestly, in my opinion, especially through skills and realizing all this, you can't want to change without being like, if you know that you want to, like, if okay, the thought that you want to start self-love and you want to get rid of all this, that's your motive, that's your idea. Now your motivation, or to get there, is how you follow up with it. If you want to take that step, because most people, they're like, yeah, I want to love myself, but I don't know how. So that's in a way that's kind of identifying it, but it's not identifying like the sole problem. That's just identifying, I want to change, I want to make this step. I want to take this step to change. And yes, it might be scary because the first step that you take is always like risky, but that's going to help me. If I want to make that jump, if I want to take that step, I will. So in a way, that's kind of the actual first step. Because if you're not willing to do it, then you're not even going to ask yourself, I want to start doing this. How do I do this? So then after you do that, you can, talk to a friend, talk to your parents, talk to yourself and have a good self conversation. So then you can go and identify what is holding you back. What's causing you to feel this way? And then after you do that, think to yourself why you gave yourself that specific thing so much importance. Because if you weren't giving it so much importance, it wouldn't be holding you back. It wouldn't be this like one of the reasons or the sole reason that you don't completely love yourself. You don't completely think I'm perfect, which nobody's really perfect, but you get the sense that I'm saying like you're a good enough person. You are good for yourself. Everybody has flaws, but that's okay. So, and then just really after you do that and after you realize that, just think to yourself, is this really worth it? Like this one thing, either I told myself because of, this one time I got an F on a test, I told myself I was stupid, and then I just kept believing it and I just stopped trying in school. Is it really important that is that one event significant enough to make me live the rest of my life thinking I'm stupid? No, because after you can remember, well, after that F I got an A. So if I was stupid, I wouldn't have gotten the A. I would have gotten another F. So after you kind of eliminate that, you can do the mirror exercise because that'll help, because you've eliminated that one or multiple things, and then you kind of build up after that, because after that you feel like a completely different person, and then you kind of build up confidence from there, and then it goes all the way up to I feel like a completely different person. So
That's awesome. Now, I've actually got a quick question for you. Why do you think people give so much power to the opinions of others? Because we're talking a lot about self-labels or harmful labels and labels, but it's a lot of labels sometimes that we put on ourselves, but that other people put on us, calling us stupid and stuff. Why do you think we care so much? Why do you think people not only accept the labels, but give them so much power to control them? Why do you think that is?
In my opinion, honestly, I think that it depends on who's telling you this, and that's why you give it so much importance. Because if you're in a store and you're buying something, regardless of what it is, but when you're checking out, someone gives you like a dirty look, or someone tells you that won't work on you, or that's not good for you, or something like that. Honestly, you're not going to give it that much importance because you're like, well, that's your opinion. Thank you for your opinion, but I'm going to continue buying what I want, taking getting what I want for this. But if it's, if one of your really best friends tells you something, you're going to take it into consideration so much because that's your best friend, or that's one of your teachers, or, somebody that you are well enough to take their opinion into consideration. Because if one of your teachers tells you, okay, well, you answered this problem wrong and you're gonna fail at life, or, well, that's really drastic, but if one of your teachers would tell you that and they were your favorite teachers, it's gonna stick with you because you're gonna give that so much importance, because you're gonna say, okay, well, look where they are, look where I am. They're a teacher. I looked up to them. They taught me all of this stuff. Obviously, it's probably true then, and I'm just going to think about that as myself for the rest of my life. I remember in first grade, one of my teachers, we were reading a book, and it was like really small, and my teacher told me that, I asked her some question, and she told me that I was shy just like the character in the book. and that's how I relate to the character. And I didn't realize that until like GYLS and after that, but what she said kind of stuck with me, because yeah, through 5th grade I was like outgoing and stuff, but I still felt kind of shy, like I should close up, like I shouldn't be as outgoing. So that, even the smallest things like that sticks with you, and if you don't realize it, it's going to keep with you. You're going to keep with it, and it's going to be a part of you until there's like, you don't feel like that you feel like that's completely set in stone, there's no way to change that, get rid of it. So I think it just depends on who it is, how much importance, or like how important they are to you, and the way you take that. Because if you take it negatively, you're just going to think about it like in a bad way. If you take it positively, you're going to think, okay, well, they told me this, but maybe I can, do something to fix this, or not fix it, but like put it towards a positive way, for a positive change.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say, just to add on to that, that especially the people who are important to us, when they give us labels, we basically want to almost live up to those so that we can still get their attention and their love, right? Like we want to have a sense of connection and community with people, and so we want to fit in with their description of us, right? We don't want to like break the status quo.
Yeah, you want to fit in with what they're saying, and
yeah, exactly.
Most of the time, it's kind of just to, like, if you're at school, you want to join a friends group, but they're saying this, so you want to agree with them. It might not be your opinion of something, but you're just going to agree with it to follow social norms and to go with it, just to be accepted. So we'll do all of this stuff, even though we know, like, okay, I really shouldn't be doing this, but I kind of want to just be accepted.
Okay, we've got a question from Rachel. How would you recommend dealing with people who insult you in the future?
Again, it depends on who it is. If you're at school and a classmate that insults you for whatever reason, you can either take it to heart and give it so much importance that it's just going to stick with you, or you can kind of just think to yourself, okay, Ariana, well, your classmate Jimmy just told you, someone just insulted you and told you that you have the biggest nose in the world and that an airplane could land on it. Now, either you think about it in a negative way and take it to heart and think, my nose is huge. I hate it. I hate it. It's the one part of me that I absolutely don't like. Or you can think about it like this. They probably have something going on that they don't know how to express. And the only way that they feel like they can make themselves feel better because they can't deal with whatever they're going through, is to bring others down. And that's literally what I think of like is the definition of a bully. They don't know how to handle something, so they take other people down because they don't know how to solve their own problem or their own situation. So again, it's all about the way you think about stuff and mentally process things. If you take everything to heart and you take everything negatively, it's gonna make a large impact and it's gonna make a huge difference. But if you take it positively, then you're just gonna think, well, they said this, but I don't really think about myself like this. I don't think my nose is huge. A lot of people have told me, unless I brought up that my nose was broken, they didn't even, have a thought about it. So I don't really think it, so I'm just gonna ignore that one insult or comment.
Yeah. Now, to almost wrap it up, what would you say is the best, most effective, easiest way to get rid of negative labels? Like, how do you do it? Do you just do the mirror exercise? Is there something specifically that you can do to completely get rid of a label forever? If you've been told that you're shy your whole life, how do you completely annihilate that and change it forever?
That's a really good question.
Thank you. I thought of it all myself on the spot.
On the spot. That's what we're good for, making up questions on the spot. I think that, again, it's different for the person and depends on how long that you've been told this. If you've been told since you were 2 and then you've kept thinking this the entire time, it's going to be a while, and you're just going to like have it ingrained in your mind. So one, it depends on how, like, it depends on the person basically. And um, honestly, I think that like, okay, personally for me, I'm just going to use the example that I used earlier. My teacher told me I was shy. Um, I didn't. I realized what she told me, and I kind of agreed with her because she was my teacher. I thought that what she told me was right. That she knew better than I did. Um, so I kind of kept with that. I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of shy, and I'm kind of gonna go with that. But then I realized, okay, well, you have to kind of sit yourself down and again talk to yourself because if you don't, it's if you think about it, just thinking about talking to yourself, it seems really weird. I'm gonna agree with that. It seems weird, but if you act like everybody talks to themselves mentally or has a like talks to themselves, period. Whether it's to a really big extent or it's just like once a time, like I'm beautiful for the mirror exercise. So talk to yourself and think to yourself, am I really shy? What have I like? What events are there to prove that I'm this way? Um, so like for me after GYLS and before that, I realized, well, if I was shy, then I wouldn't have been so like out there, kind of friendly like at GYLS, and I wouldn't have made so many new friends, and I wouldn't have went up to everyone and said, hi, I'm Ariana, where are you from? What's your name? So you kind of, it's again, you just have to talk to yourself. Does this really, what this person is telling me, or is what I've been thinking about myself, is this actually is this actually true? And then if you say yes, think why. If you say no, then you're like, okay, no, this isn't part of me, but I've remembered this and I don't really need to anymore because it's false, it's not true. So I think that would be the fastest way to do it because you not only bring to your own attention this, but it's like an eye opener. Like, wow, what else is going on that I can kind of fix?
Awesome. Now on YouTube, we actually got a comment. It worked. We were kind of testing it out, and it worked.
Yay!
And it's actually from your dad. It says, Ariana, this is Dad. What a great subject to talk about. The most important takeaway is that nothing about you changed during the 2 years that you were in grade 6 and 7. You are you, your core, the same beautiful, confident, courageous, funny, awesome girl I've known since birth. Confidence is within you. You know who you are and cannot and should not let empty words from anyone bring any doubt in that confidence. I'm proud of you for having the breakthrough and courage to talk about it. And we've got a whole bunch of other ones on the momentum page that you should just go check out and read because it would take so long to read them all. Josh said, I don't have any questions because you're so awesome, and this session has inspired me so much. Love you, girl. Thank you. And we've got a whole bunch of other ones, so you should go check them all out.
This is so like honestly, I knew that like over the past couple like sessions, there's like 2 or 3 people on. I don't know how many people are on right now.
It's been on and off. As of right now, it looks like we've got 6 people who have watched more or less the whole thing up to 50 minutes.
Well, even those like even who came on and then came off. Like I know that like I think last week when we did the sessions, it was like 2 or 3 throughout the entire thing. But like the fact that that even the 6 people came on and watched it from beginning to end, and the fact that people are just like Rachel and Josh and everybody that they're just commenting, that it doesn't seem like a big deal. Like I commented a lot and asked questions a lot, but it didn't really seem like a big deal, or like it didn't really seem like a big thing. But it like hearing all of the comments and hearing all of the thing, it like means a lot, and it's just like, yay, love you guys.
It's just knowing that you're making a difference, right? And the thing is, like, we have 6 people live, but a lot of people just get caught up with life. They're busy, so a lot of them watch it after. This video is going to get a lot more.
It ends up like 200, 300.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot more than 6 views. So If anyone's made it this far watching, whether it's live or recorded, what do you have to say of them about
I
self-love?
love you guys. Thank you for taking the time out of your morning, your afternoon. For Australia, it's what is it, almost 3 a.m. there. So, I mean, just I love you and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules because everybody has stuff to do. Everybody, they can't always commit, especially with all the responsibilities that everybody has, work and school and all that. So just thank you for taking the time to come in and watch.
Awesome.
And
And any final
um,
thoughts on self-love?
not only self love, but just another thing, because I know a lot of, like you said, a lot of people end up watching it later when it's the pre recorded one and they can't really ask questions if they think of one. So if you're watching this after after we've aired this and after it's done being live, if you have any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate. Just if you have a question on how to do something and you couldn't be able to watch it live and ask it here, go ahead and message me. Usually I always have my phone with me, and I know it's not a great thing, but if you have a question or anything, just shoot me a message, send me a text. I'll be happy to answer. I'd actually love to answer it if you had any questions like that because you can have the time to watch it live. So yeah, and then just everybody, you guys are all amazing and talented, and you don't realize it until like you have a breakthrough, but you're absolutely amazing, and never forget that.
Awesome. Thank you for such an amazing session. We'll see you guys all next week.
Bye, guys.